Welcome to the Walrus podcast, episode 3. Today with me is Jesse and Benjamin.
Did you forget my name for a second?
Benjamin.
It sounded like you almost forgot his name.
Today's
Roommate and cousin.
Today's episode is brought to you by something I just made up. Anyway, today we're gonna talk about not walruses, because this goes according to my whims. So
How whimsical of you.
Yeah. So the topic I wanted to do is why is Rick from Rick and Morty an atheist? I think that's weird. It's weird to me.
And we brought our own closest that we could get to atheist, Jesse Brunick, to help us be on the other side of this discussion.
I consider myself a specialist, actually. Thank you.
Specialist?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Specialist.
Yeah, specialist. Excuse us.
Specialist.
Yeah. Atheism in real life, that makes sense to me, because if you can't see anything, it's obviously not there. So, but in Rick and Morty's universe,
He literally creates universes and jumps between dimensions.
He's been a god.
He's pretty much the definition of a god.
So, what I think a god would be is something who would be a person or species that operates in the fifth dimension. It would be just a living being who was in another dimension, in a higher dimension, who, I don't know if you ever seen Flatland. It's a movie. It's about the second dimension.
My silence should say enough. No, I have not.
So it's about
heard it.
It's about these little circles who live in this 2D world, and we can see them. All they can see is a line. It's
Right,
just
because it's two-dimensional.
Yeah, all they can see is a line, but we can see their insides and everything. But if you were a 3D person and you could reach in and just kind of take and pick them up, they'd be like, "What? That's crazy."
That would be godlike to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be godlike.
Well, to me, the definition of a god is just a being with infinitely more knowledge than we have currently. I mean, if you're to the point where you're creating an entire universe just to put your children in, that's pretty knowledgeable.
I question that we are children in that sense. Especially in reference to Rick in his position and or disposition with the universes that he creates. They don't worship him as a father or creator in any way, shape, or form.
He doesn't go to them in that kind of sense, though. But I think he goes out of his way to make sure that they don't see him in that figure. That's why he disguises himself as an alien.
Yeah.
He prefers that mentality over a god religious mentality, because he clearly doesn't respect religion at all.
I'm not sure I do either, in the sense that I feel like it's pointless. But I think that that's kind of where he, or his character, I should say, would be brought in to that same frame of mind.
Yeah, I was thinking, in season 2, episode 1, they have that time guy comes in there. He's and he fixes it from you guys have been messing with time, and he can just pop in and out of anywhere, wherever he wants, and he was just a grunt. So I don't know if. And
that's
potentially
true. He's looking for promotions.
Yeah, potentially maybe his higher up is God, but
Why does it have to be a singular being?
that doesn't have to be.
Either way, it would still be the same definition. You gotta be. If he can go forwards and backwards through time, side to side, or whatever dimensional mistake of time that Rick and Morty were in, that in itself is pretty godlike. And that guy is a pencil pusher looking for a promotion. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of agree with you in the sense that he plays off this atheist character, but he's clearly seen godlike beings and has been a godlike being in the sense where he's created an entire universe and things inside that universe.
If he was agnostic, that would make sense to me.
Well, everybody's agnostic. Nobody fucking knows what's going on. I don't know that there's no God. You don't know that there is a God. Don't fucking fool yourself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this just because there's a creature that can interact interdimensionally and or through time and space doesn't make them a deity. It just makes them a different dimensional creature.
Well,
something.
yeah, it doesn't, but
And that, I don't think
That's
by
why-
definition that by no definition makes them a god.
well, the point is, why isn't he at least open-minded to a god when he's met those kind of deities?
that
Like, how could you limit yourself mentally like that when you've seen proof that there's other things that even his science doesn't quite understand? Because he doesn't even have. But he doesn't have the capabilities to mess with time. He's tried time travel. He can go through dimensions, but going backwards and forward through time, he doesn't. He still hasn't even dealt with that yet.
Yeah, but that doesn't dictate to me that there would be a god still. Like that doesn't just answer the question as to why there would be, a god figure.
I think it's more just. I don't think he has to believe. I just think there's a possibility that something created this.
I'm
universe.
more questioning why he's so closed off from the possibility. That's what I'm saying. From everything that he's done, can do, and has seen, how could he just say there is no God? Period. He doesn't say possibly, maybe.
Because he's done the same thing and is not a god.
Maybe.
I'm wondering if it's like.
Wait, what maybe? Like, we've literally just touched on the subject that he's interacted and built, like, in a frame, the same thing that we live in, almost infinitely in that particular episode. Like, it just keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
The same idea would, traject backwards in the sense that, like, larger universes expand above and beyond us. That still, maybe I'm thinking of the term God too linearly. Maybe my frame of thought is too linear in the case of like the definition of a god, but in my mind, religiously, a god is somebody that you specifically pray to, or in any way respect or regard for your soul and or afterlife. That to me seems pointless, and that to Rick obviously is pointless because. Again, I'm gonna reference the same thing. He's done the same thing, created a universe, and even walked them through some of their technological advances, and is not a god.
But isn't that what a god does?
Isn't he the?
I mean, he doesn't consider. He does consider him a god.
Well,
if you've ever seen Rick and the way he acts and treats everybody around him, he believes that he's a god. If he worships anybody, it's himself.
Well, that's fair to say in a sense he thinks he's a god, but at the same time, he doesn't hear the prayers of these other universes.
It's not that he couldn't, though.
Or
he
even
just
if they
doesn't care.
do pray.
If anything, if he is a god, he's just an uncaring, unfeeling one. Because he does everything else that, the religious god does. He's created universes, he's walked through them. He helps occasionally with, technology, with some of the stuff that he goes. He doesn't go out of his way to do it with anybody else. If it's on his way and he can help out and he cares at that moment, then he'll do it. But or if Morty cares, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But we're not saying that he has to believe that God is listening to all of our prayers, but I think our main argument is the fact that a being so powerful created Rick's universe, and he's completely closed off to that idea. And
I don't think he's closed off to that idea at all. I just think that he doesn't see them as a deity. He just sees them as another creature. Yeah, maybe even equals. That's actually a pretty good statement in and of itself. Like maybe he sees them as like a mental equal in the sense because he's done again the same thing.
And when he actually is able to meet that person, I would say they're equals. But the fact that he hasn't met him, doesn't know how to get out of his own universe or plane of existence to meet him. But he even says when he's talking to one of his mini-verse peoples, where it's just like, is your God just as big a dick as you are? And he's like, my God's the biggest dick that never existed. And so he clearly doesn't think that there's anything else past him, which I think is an interesting frame of mind, considering what he does for a car battery.
I don't know if he. I mean, that statement can mean that he doesn't acknowledge any kind of larger universe beyond ours, but I don't know if it exactly says that, because you can sit here all day and just say that God doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that you think that it doesn't exist.
Well, he kind of goes out of his way to preach that as well. Summer was just like, oh my God. And then I think it was in episode 1, and then Rick was just like, there's no God. I'm going to rip that Band-Aid off right now. And then continues drinking or, eating pancakes or something.
I think his, the way that he strips that away from people's mentality is the same way that I don't think that I don't go into the same, what would be the term that I'm looking for? I don't know, but he's quite a bit more abrasive about it than I would be.
Yeah.
But I agree with that mentality that there's not a God that you should worship and or waste your time thinking about, because, why would there be? If there was, why are there so many different religions and so many different gods, like multi-theism, monotheism? There's just too many fucking things.
And there's a couple of different theories to that.
And I guess ours is a little different. We're, let's see, monotheistic polytheists. Is it in the sense that, I guess in Mormonism, it's God is also a species. We have our God, but there's also more.
Yeah, he had a God and a God before that.
That sounds exactly like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
As far as Rick's disposition and his creation of universes, I'm sure him as a character, obviously we're talking about a cartoon, but I'm sure him as a character acknowledges and or recognizes that he's not the end all be all of the universes if he's done it himself. He's intelligent enough to realize that if he can go infinitely one direction, it can go infinitely the other direction.
And we just haven't really seen any evidence of that.
He hasn't been put in a position where he needs to acknowledge that at all.
And there could be a couple of different theories to that, because there's a theory out there that says Rick knows he's on TV because he flips through the infinite channels and he saw himself watching TV and, infinitely. So now he knows he's part of a TV show, which is why he's always looking for a catchphrase. He's always repeating himself, when he was just like, oh, good thing there was all these clothes in the back of this spaceship, huh? Right, Morty? He's like, yes, I heard you the past 10 times. You keep saying that. So, that could be... I don't know.
I've seen that one specifically as well.
But to, not get, too religious, because that could be a whole new podcast, which could be, a really fun one, because this is strictly just,
just his frame of mind. No,
yeah.
But that's pretty much what he's saying. I think that his position on that is, the fact that he's an atheist in his character is just the fact that the, organized religion is not the right way to view any kind of greater being. Whether it created you or not, it does not matter, because they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
And I'm not to say that they're not, because obviously the one that created, or Rick could potentially view the universe that he created inside that car battery for that episode specifically. I'm sure he could devise a way to connect and communicate with them while staying in his own universe. But at the same time, he doesn't bother, because why bother?
He doesn't care. As long as his car works, he's fine. That's it. That's his prayers and worship. His car's going.
I don't even think that we're a planned situation anyway, necessarily, or just...
Well, I thought aliens put us on here.
That could be.
I like the idea of the Earth being a petri dish. That's all it is.
Well, it's just kind of all it is now.
Yeah.
It's all it probably has been since the first bit of life spawned.
This could be a really good podcast too. Do it another time. The existence of God and the points thereof.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I can already see us going off on a whole new tangent regarding just religion. And I enjoy talking about it, so we should definitely do this again, but talk about strictly religion and God and what's the point of it. Because there's a lot of good questions, what's, obviously what I just said, what's the point?
It's a lot of good questions, specifically what's the point?
Well, and there's that, and it's just if God exists, why do bad things happen? Which I've always found to be the most asinine question.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Because,
like even being in an atheist position, like I agree that why do bad things happen? Like that is probably
People
one of the most
suck.
asinine positions.
Some people
That's
suck.
that's what I say. It's like if God made free will, obviously that's going to be taken advantage of immediately, and it's
Right.
going to suck for us.
Yeah, I just don't like the people who explain it like, well, it's because of original sin. It's like, oh, fuck you then.
No.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Like,
because
well,
I'm being,
No, not even
you know,
we believe that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I would be punished for something I didn't do before birth anyway.
This is and
Question
for
mark.
anybody listening, this is going to be pretty atheist and Mormonism. That's LDS for people who actually know, but like that's the sides that you're listening to right now. We're not really branching out much further than that. As far as I can
I
tell.
don't have too much knowledge on pretty much any religion for that matter. I just know that there's
I do
a
like
lot of
Buddhism.
them and a lot of different beliefs, and I don't see how you can pick one and just say this is the correct one.
I like that ours kind of just
Well, that's
cherry picks all of the.
yeah. That's
all
what
of
I
them.
do. I cherry pick. I like.
Right.
I love.
But
Buddhism.
if you cherry pick, then what's the point?
well,
It's
Buddhism.
all philosophy.
Well,
It's a
And
philosophy
if you
to live by.
if all you're doing is living by that philosophy and not saying that everybody should be a part of it, then that's fine. Do that shit all you want.
I feel like part of it is like, look, this is making me happy. I feel like it would
Yeah,
make you happy too.
Well,
But
I mean,
for like the religious people out there who are just like, join us or you're going to hell, like, you know,
Yeah,
you got the terrorists or
obviously
the
those are
people who
terrible
are always
people.
like, transgenders are going to hell, blah 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 blah.
hell doesn't
Those
exist.
guys,
You should probably get up.
It's not
it's
okay.
just that's what gives I think
No,
religion
and I-
the worst name ever. And
I
why.
understand sharing something that
Some
you
people
enjoy.
suck.
Like that, I understand. But like you just touched on it is exactly what I was referencing. It's just like the people who shove it down your throat and say that you need to be part of one or the other or neither. Is
I'm
just
gonna advocate Buddhism
garbage.
because I don't.
I have a buddy of mine who was
Buddhism
who's
is
probably still in the army. I haven't heard from him in a couple of years. But he was Buddhist, and
Yeah.
the dude was actually a lot of fun to talk to.
Yeah,
Like any religion, doesn't really matter. The person's a person.
Well,
No
and
matter
it's,
how
I think
small.
it's interesting that, you know, and I'm going to go strictly with Christianity mostly because that's where I have the most experience. But from what I've seen, they're like, no, God loves you no matter what, but do what we say or die. Like, that seems to be the contradiction mentality that most Christians have out there, and it's mind-blowing to me.
what I like is my dad's. He always tells, like, if I'm like, Dad, can I do this? He's like, you can do whatever you want. There's also the unsaid. There's consequences, though.
You can do whatever
Well, you know,
want.
the laws of action and reaction situation. Yeah. blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
I feel
But-
like we have kind of delved a little off topic though.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, I think
This podcast only goes off topic.
As per the whimsy of the creator.
you're gonna make an interesting god. Just like whatever genre you're
Jesus
interested
Christ,
in.
no pun intended.
There's gonna be like we were living in your world, I could easily see us just be like, oh,
Pirate
parking
day today.
outside. It's pirate day today.
Yeah.
Everything is now pirated.
Everything's opposite day.
Oh,
People are literally
guys, it's
cutting off their
9/11.
own
Time to
hands.
purge.
Or just wake up in the morning on the ceiling and I'm like, oh, God got rid of gravity today. That's fine. Oh, that's cool. We'll just we'll deal with that. Thanks, God.
That would make quite a few people vomitous, from my understanding.
Yeah.
Whatever Christoph God wants.
Christoph
He will-
God.
So the point is, Rick's an atheist.
Yeah, I don't know.
Way to cycle back there, buddy.
So did we ever did we get to a conclusion? Because I can't even remember what we did.
No,
what was
I
discussed,
feel-
to be honest.
The conclusion was just that he doesn't view the creator as a religious entity. Like,
Well,
or-
and then he would be agnostic. He wouldn't say there's no God. I would just say if someone created it. Then
no, he's saying there's no God. Just because you're a creator doesn't make you a God. Like, again, maybe I'm thinking of the term God too linearly.
Well, God is in creator of Rick's universe. He doesn't seem to believe there's that kind of being there.
There's a creator.
I'm sure, again, referencing the fact that, you know, he saw that it can go infinitely deep, it can go infinitely out.
Yeah.
But,
Logically.
well, yeah, logically, and he seems to be quite logical in most
But
senses.
I also I I kind of disagree with that part, just because Rick is so bored with his own intellect that he sometimes will just screw with you for no reason. And
No, there's reason to entertain him.
yeah, that's true. he's all about just self-enjoyment.
I fuck with people all the time. I will intentionally use the wrong word in some sentences just to see if people are paying attention or know what word I need to meet. That I need to say.
What was that? I gotta say this before I forget. He also seems very angry when he says that, though. There is no God. My God is... I mean, granted, he was pretty pissed off when he said it to this guy,
right.
where he was like that. But I think he may have been open-minded to it, but based on whatever happened in his past that made him a raging alcoholic and not caring about anything ever, kind of threw the whole God idea into that category too, and he just doesn't want to think about it. That would be my theory.
Yeah.
That part of him believes that there is some kind of God, but he's given up on that God. He doesn't care anymore because of all the crap that's happened to him in the past.
Which,
he doesn't
I
seem
guess
happy.
Even be fair to say, like, even if he did recognize a specific deity or God, obviously it wouldn't be one that's named in any books that we have. But in his sense, like, why, again, though, in the sense that he doesn't care for his... I feel like I'm just saying the same things over and over. We're not really coming to a conclusion. But he doesn't care that there's a creator of his realm because he doesn't interact with it, therefore it doesn't matter.
And if anything, he probably feels cheated by it. There's
Why?
one of the main things that I keep seeing in Rick and Morty is I don't see... I didn't ask to be born. That seems to be the reoccurring theme in almost every episode.
Yeah,
Not to be born, Dad.
7 billion people on this world and you feel cheated? Fucking get off the goddamn horse.
That's how everybody is, though.
Have you been
Everybody
to
feels
Africa?
that way.
I don't even want to reference like third world countries. Like, it's not just like, oh yeah, we've got it better than some people. It's just
No.
the fuck. This is all the people. That's 7 billion people on the planet, not including every other life form, which is probably countless at this point. But let's just say infinite life forms in the entirety of the universe. And you feel cheated? Like, fucking... Why?
It's true. Everybody has that self-pitying moment, though. You can't even help it. But it's when you really start to believe it is when I kind of stop feeling sorry for you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well,
I
Trump.
get you.
Trump is like the perfect example of that. No man in history, no president in history has ever been more attacked than me. Shut the fuck up. Like, you know.
Is that something that he actually said?
Yeah, he said
he said
something
that.
to like that.
No,
yeah.
that was pretty much...
Oh,
And,
okay.
so it's just like, you've
not
heard of
the one
Abraham
or-
Lincoln, right?
Right, or any of them that have been assassinated. John F. Kennedy, blah, blah,
Or
blah.
just
He's
plain
just-
died.
They were attacked,
Zachary
quite a bit more
Actually,
violently.
Right?
Yeah.
They were way more aggressively attacked than you are.
And they
If anything-
said things too, not just circled around the question and not said things.
If anything, we're being attacked by you.
This has just got political.
So
We
join us
don't-
next time.
We don't endorse any political parties.
No, I'm not one to bitch about it.
I don't
I'm not
care
one
either.
to.
Oh no, Trump is an asshole, and I'll take a stand on that point right now.
That's
I don't know much. Like
I don't think he's as bad as the media portrays, but still, it's not.
the only problem I have is when a person in any office. I'm not attacking any singular person, but the type of person. If a person in any like place of power or position of power can't answer a fucking question in more than one sentence and still doesn't answer the question, they shouldn't be a leader.
no. The leader's got to be the person. Well, okay.
And I
Before
mean
we go
any
much
position
further.
of power. I don't just mean presidency. I just mean any
Oh.
position of power. Like,
That's
I've seen
100% correct.
I've seen some videos that are uncut of him going on for a solid few sentences and not answering the question at hand. And they cycle back to, look at my hands, this guy over here, I know a guy, he's the best guy, I'm the best guy. Done with the question, moving on. But my question's not answered, sir.
He's the best.
He's
the greatest.
I have
words. I have the best words.
He's really good at showmanship. That's why.
No, I agree.
That's
He's good
why
at
he
showmanship.
won.
But at
now
the same
he doesn't
time,
know what to do because you
that's
need to be
just-
more than a showman at this point, and he has not proved to be more than just a
he'd
showman.
be a do man.
I think he kind of won.
I'm
because
pretty
of the
sure he's
obvious
just a
political-
political puppet. But again, we're getting off topic. If we want to, I don't know if there's really a conclusion you can come to this
No, I don't
point.
think there is either.
Well,
'Cause I think
it's a
we hit,
fictional
like, the-
cartoon
Yeah.
character. Of
Yeah,
course you can't
and
come
we
to a
haven't even
conclusion about
seen-
it. We're not even the creators of said cartoon, so
No.
like we're speculating all the way through. But you know, whatever the fuck.
It's just a fun topic
Hey,
to talk
so
about.
now that I've cussed like 16 times, am I allowed to cuss on the show?
No.
No.
That's
Should've
alright.
probably
We'll
been
put a
just-
warning
oh,
label.
warning.
Explicit.
Explicit.
Oh man, better hide the kids, hide your wife. They're coming for you.
Hide your kids.
Yeah, no, but for realsies, it's the part of the English language. You better learn it.
And we haven't even seen like most of the show yet. Because I'm hoping we haven't. I want there to be lots
Oh.
of seasons of
I'm
the show.
certain those.
I'm thinking of like future episodes at this point.
If it makes money, it will go forward.
It's got a pretty
Yeah,
strong
it'll be
following,
alright.
from my understanding.
Yeah,
I
which
love
makes
the
me
shit out
happy.
of the show.
Because like, so many of the shows I love will just like end for no reason. Like, classic example, Firefly.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a cult classic too. Like so many
Yeah.
people like rave about that show. I liked it.
Right? And they're still selling like merchandise for it, and like, so it
Board
seems
games.
like it would have made them a lot of money, and now it's gone.
They were just not.
So I'm just like
Yeah.
paranoid, I guess, when it comes to shows that.
No, they're on Adult Swim, not Fox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because Fox is just bad.
Okay, have you
Adult
seen
Swim
any?
doesn't know when to stop, so
Yeah. Have you-
it'll keep going.
Yeah, no. They made a show about a H. John Benjamin as a butt, like a literal butt cop. He's just a pair
yes.
of legs and a butt.
I remember that.
That's a TV show?
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't remember what it was named. I watched it once and hated my life.
That sounds awful. Like, I'll try most things at least once, but that show may be an exception because it doesn't sound like it's worth my time.
It really wasn't even like good comedy either. It was literally just an ass speaking.
But,
Yeah, no, the symbolism's there.
Fun.
Don't get me wrong, but it still wasn't funny.
But
but that does make me feel better about Rick and Morty. The fact that that show is going on, and Rick and Morty is clearly infinitely better than that.
doubt that show's still going on.
No, I don't think it is.
It's like one season.
Did-
I don't
That
know,
was
I can't
probably
remember.
1 or 2 seasons. but
Ass
I-
Cop. I can't
Well,
remember.
the very fact that they even gave it a chance then.
Yeah, again,
So,
Adult Swim doesn't know when to stop.
because like that
And
Dracula
it's not a
show I
bad
used to
thing.
watch was freaking amazing,
Yeah, it was incredibly intelligent.
and then it was over.
Yeah, well, that's because you have to speak to the lowest common denominator, and if people are dumb, people watch TV, and if smart people.
Anyway, we should wrap this up because you got to go to work.
Yeah.
Do
Join
we
us.
do we have like
Does
a?
this not work?
No.
Oh.
Hell,
This is-
it
I'm
should
not
be
getting
Doing
paid
our
for this?
downtime. You'll be paid in favors.
They better be mouth favors.
I was gonna say, way to go. You left that opening wide open.
Join us next time on the Walrus Podcast, where we talk about nothing